Hello, everyone, and welcome to the We Connect Academy session on peace language from conflict to connection with Sezer Aksoy. I want to remind everyone that you are muted currently and to please hold your questions until the end. You can put them in the questions box, or there's also a chat box, and I will facilitate those questions towards the end of the presentation. Also, this live recording will be available on our We Connect Academy YouTube channel, and you can find the link to that on our website on the We Connect Academy tab. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm very excited to introduce to you Sezer Aksoy. She'll provide a brief introduction of herself, and then we'll jump right into the presentation. Thank you all. Sezer?
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Hi, I am Sezer Aksoy. Welcome, everybody. Although I don't see your smiling faces, but I'm sending my smiles to you, all of you. And I've been running a management consultancy and training company, Karum Consult, for more than 20 years. Since 10 years, I've been interested in peace language, which is the nonviolent communication of Marshall Rosenberg, an American psychologist. Maybe some of you have heard by now. And I'm designing and implementing the peace language programs in schools and corporations and some open courses as well. And the main aim of this workshop is to focus our attention on how we can approach the conflicting situations between two people by using the peace language for steps. And as a general introduction, I would like to mention some classical definition of what is conflict, actually. And conflict, it is any tension which is experienced when two person perceives that one's needs and desires are likely to be thwarted or frustrated, or the struggle between incompatible needs, wishes, ideas, interests, or people. Conflict arises when individuals or groups encountered goals that both parties cannot obtain satisfactorily. And now, during this workshop, I will approach conflict from a different kind of definition, actually, which is a new definition of conflict. Conflict, throughout my life, my business life, I have been experienced and observed that conflicts arising between people when they are falling into the area of who is right, who is wrong, and blaming each other by using some judgmental and toxic language. Have you ever think of that? How many business days we are spending to solve the individual conflicts at workplace during a year? And if we could save even the 10% of the total amount of resources used for conflict resolution, how would this saving contribute to the profitability and efficiency of our businesses? And I bring a new definition of conflict, which is whether it is interpersonal, social, and internal. Conflict is resistance to new information entering a system. Between human beings, actually, interpersonal relationships, the system means that it's our brain, body, and mind, actually, as a whole. And if there is any kind of different information trying to enter our system, so our system gives error and says that, oops, there is something which is not fitting with what I have in hand. So it is a conflict. And if we look at the conflict with such a definition, conflicts about each and every aspect of life are inevitable between human beings. Wherever human beings live, there will be conflict, so which is something quite normal. And if there is a new information and trying to enter the system, such as different and new ways of doing things, maybe different ideas that we have known, some strategies to satisfy basic human needs. And instead of avoiding from conflicts, I have been considering conflicts as the most powerful motor of change, innovation, growth, and efficiency in our lives. If we give permission ourselves to listen and hear. And there is always a choice to react or respond what is trying to come into our system. This is the basic choice, what we will choose. Just resist, react, or respond, listen and hear what is in conflict, what is the message of conflict trying to pass through. If we focus our attention to the needs behind the actions and behaviors instead of the behaviors in itself, we call them the strategies in peace language. We can use our resources in a more efficient way. So I would like to look at what is the language which alienates us from life, first of all. And when we have opened our eyes into this planet Earth, all our world is about our mother, before birth through our genes, and after birth first from our family, then at schools, and from our society. We have been exposed, almost bombarded, too many transfers in the form of language, beliefs, assumptions, and values. And we have been taught what or who is right and wrong, what are the good and bad things to do or not to do, what should be look like, what is okay to say, what is not. And we have learned the language of moral judgments, which is called life alienated language. Because the language all we are speaking does not serve to our life to be happy and peaceful. We are very competent and skilled to speak this language. As a metaphor, we call it jackal language in nonviolent communication. And I would like to give some examples of what is the language alienates us from life, or what are the moral judgments. Actually, we are using this language very competently in our daily lives, whether it is in business, in our at home, any kind of relationships, actually, with the relationships of ourselves also. For example, we are making all the time spontaneously the comparisons. We are comparing ourselves in any many respects with some other people. Let's say in business life, we are comparing ourselves with our colleagues, at least, and we are coming a conclusion that we are good or bad comparatively, and we are making too many critics criticizing and blaming us or blaming others for they did something, or many times they didn't something which we are expecting them to do. So we are judging them, we are judging ourselves. And as you know, in our societies, in our world, in our systems, there is really violence coming from the reward and punishment systems that we are using in our businesses also. We are rewarding if we think somebody deserved to be rewarded, or we are punishing the people or sometimes ourselves for our behaviors, our decisions, or whatever. And we are trying to escape from punishment, and we are trying to run to reward, and how we are successful, how we are not. And we are underestimating, we are insulting each other, and we are competing actually. And we are making analysis and diagnosis and coming to a conclusion about people after our analysis, and we are labeling them. Labeling such as how they are lazy, how they have big mouths, how they are chattering, how they are successful or unsuccessful, stinker or so on. And most of the time we are denying the responsibilities because we think that the responsibility is not ours. Let me give an example. If we get angry, we are blaming others for this anger, and we are saying, criticizing them, you make me sick, you make me angry, your behaviors, your words make me crazy, and you're driving me crazy. So we are giving all the responsibilities of our feelings and needs to the other parties, to the other persons, other than taking this responsibility to us. And most of the time we are thinking the victim. We are victim and we have no choice actually. This is an understanding and a role that we are giving ourselves. And coming from all these moral judgments, we are enforcing people and demanding them to do something for us to be happy, which is not take us to any conclusion that we want. And in the Jackal's world, Jackal language has been spoken, and Jackal asks the question, though, who is right? Who is wrong? And who are you? You are saying this to me. And maybe you heard the name of Rumi, which is very well known in this peace language space. And Rumi says that there is a field beyond the ideas of right and wrong. Let's meet there. And this is the main invitation to peace in you and peace in the world, actually. And it is the same where peace language invites us to meet. And in peace language world, as a metaphor, we call the giraffe's world. In the giraffe's world, peace language has been spoken, and the main question of giraffe is who needs what? So we are changing our questions, and by doing so, we are changing our focus. We are transforming our world and focusing our attention from who is right, who is wrong, and who are you, to who needs what. This is actually a very big step, very big paradigm shift, which is the capacity to turn our lives into a more peaceful and rich, happy world. And there is one more saying that, which is the ground of actually peace language of Marshall Rosenberg. I would like to share this quote with you also. There is at least one need behind every violent behavior. So afterwards, we are not judging the behaviors of others, behaviors of ourselves. We are just looking what is behind every behavior. what is the need behind every behavior. So this is the main transformation. And when we link the issue of conflict with these codes, and then another code comes, every moment each human being is doing the best we know at that moment to meet our needs. And we never do anything that is not in the service of a need, which means that so there is no conflict on our planet at the level of needs. So when we start to speak the needs language, peace language, we cannot evaluate any kind of behavior, any kind of relationship is in conflict. So this is a paradigm shift, actually. It is a first step to start transforming our focus from somewhere to needs. And I would like to give some information about what is peace language, actually, nonviolent communication. Peace language is simple, extremely powerful and effective tool developed by American psychologist Marshall Rosenberg for improving our communication skills in all our relationships. It doesn't matter at work, with friends and family, in any kind of relationship. And it helps us to understand what blocks our communication and teaches us what we can do to communicate more effectively, step by step. And the main areas of peace language communication method is used are conflict resolution, mediation, coaching, therapy relations, and team building, mentoring. So why? Why peace language? Why peace language? Because it brings us inner peace. It's because to reach inner peace and to make objective observation to the conflicting experiences we live, and to increase our capacity to connect with our and others' feelings and needs, and to live respect and understanding and collaboration in our relationships, and as a result to gain the skills for social change. Because when we change, all our world is changing around, all energy is changing around us. And there are some theses, peace language approach. All human beings have the capacity to be compassionate and empathic nature. I want you to focus on the word we have the capacity. We have the capacity to be compassionate and empathic nature. Does not mean that as a result we will be compassionate and empathic. Actually, we are born with this capacity, and then during our childhood and then at school and in some beliefs, transfers or whatever, we become less empathic. Although we have this capacity embedded in each and every of us. And another thesis of peace language is feelings and needs are same and universal. Actually, what Rumi says that there is a field that we can come together, and then in this space we are experiencing the oneness, which is the common ground of peace language. Actually, all we have the same feelings and needs. Although we can judge each other in the jackal's world, we can try to be right, and we can try to prove how our thoughts are the right ones to each other. We cannot agree on this field because all our efforts are going to show who is right and who is wrong, which is like in fighting area actually on our minds. And then this is the thesis of invites all of us to the feelings and needs area. This area, there is no right and wrong. There is just feelings and needs. And another thesis is to contribute and enrich life. Enriching life is one of our most powerful needs. As you remember, there is at least one need behind every behavior, every action. And this is the main need we have, the most powerful need we have, contributing and enriching life. And I would like to make a comparison, which I called comparing the dream to the nightmare. And all we are living in a domination culture, and as a result, we are working in a domination organizations, and this seems inevitable, but there is another field that we can come together, which is the dream space, life enriching space. And then as you see on the screen, in the domination organizations, the goal is trying to show who is right, who is wrong, and get what you want. And every strategy is okay, just get what you want. And obeying the authority is the main goal. When we look at the dream side, we see the goals making life more wonderful for everybody and get everyone's needs met and connect with self and others. Connection is the main word in life enriching organizations, because just connect before you correct anything. And what is the motivation in domination cultures is, as I mentioned, punishment and reward, guilt and shame. We get what we want by shaming others and blaming others. And there are some obligations and duties and titles actually, which is shaping us as human beings. And the other side, we see the motivations as contributing to the well-being of others and receiving freely from others, from heart, which is possible actually. And in domination organizations, the evaluation is labels and judgments, which is actually even some positive ones are labels also from this culture, such as how you are successful, how you are beautiful, how you are good actually. All these are evaluations of what we have seen, because it is just in our seeing, the way of seeing the things, which is evaluations actually. And the other side, we see such evaluations as what is fulfilling human needs and what isn't. What would make life more wonderful for you and me? And I continue the 4 steps of peace language. The first step is the observation, making a realistic observation, seeing the things as how they are, not evaluating, not mixing with our evaluations, not mixing our judgments. Just see what it is. And when things are happening, when we are making observations, what happens there without mixing our evaluations in it, and how we feel. What happens us? What happens to us? How we feel when these things are happening? What we need? And the last and 4th step, what we want to enrich our lives. In other words, what we need and what we want. What are the strategies actually? We think that will meet our needs, satisfy our needs. What we observe, we can use these questions when something happens around us. It may be just directly related to us, such as between us and somebody else, or we may be witnessing something happened between two people, let's say, as we are just witnessing what is going between them. And we are asking questions, what he or she did or said. We are just interested in what he or she did, instead of how they are lazy, how they are good, how they are bad, how they are doing right and wrong, and then just focusing directly what they did, what they said. And when we saw what they did, when we hear what they said, what happens to me, how I feel? Sad, angry, disappointed, curious, anxious, or whatever. How I feel. I'm just focusing my attention how I feel when I saw something or hear something. And there is a linkage between the feelings and needs, which is all the feelings are living in our bodies as the energies in movement, and all the needs are living in our body. So here is the in peace language, just connecting with our feelings and needs. We need to turn into our bodies actually, because we cannot find our feelings and needs outside. We can find them in our bodies. So we are just looking the messages coming from our bodies in order to connect with our feelings. And feelings are saying us like traffic lamps, showing the way, which needs are met, which are not. They are just like messengers carrying some messages from our needs actually. When some of our needs are being met, we feel some comfortable feelings such as happiness, peace, spaciousness, and etc. On the other hand, when some of our needs are met in any moment in time, in any relationship, so again, the body gives some messages in the form of uncomfortable feelings, which are sadness, anger, and anxiety, and unhappiness, restfulness, and whatever. So if you want me to send you a list of feelings and needs, please let me know at the end of the session. And as you all know, here is the hierarchy of needs from Maslow. And we have some psychological needs. After satisfying these basic needs, we go another ladder into this pyramid, and safety needs, love and belonging needs, and self-esteem needs, and at the top of the pyramid is self-actualization. So the last step is, once we connect with our feelings, and feelings show us what our needs met or unmet. In other words, when we connect our needs, actually, there is a space opens, which we call it, there is an abundancy there. So we can ask ourselves, what makes this need to be satisfied? What are the ways? What are the strategies? What can I request from myself and from the other person in order to meet my need? Actually, first thing is to connect to our own feelings and needs. And afterwards, we can guess how the other person in our relationship may be feeling, what maybe her or him needs, he or she is trying to satisfy. Actually, if we can see all our feelings and needs and all their feelings and needs at the same time, so this is the place where we can connect in any kind of conflicting situations, actually. And I would like to say about something requests as a fourth and last step. We are looking at something positive. I mean, we are not saying what we don't want them to do. Instead of doing this, we are saying what we want them to do. And it should be just in time. I mean, they can be do if they want. It should be exact, concrete, and specific. For example, if I can come and say to you, I need respect, and I think I cannot get this respect from you, this is not saying clearly, specifically what you want. Yes, you connected with your respect needs, and you think that you are not satisfying with this need in your relationship, but you are not telling that the other person what she or he can do specifically, exactly, in order to meet this respect need, because this responsibility is on your side. First, you just connect with what is your need, and then you are the only person to know what will be satisfy this need, your need. And if we give this responsibility to the other person, so we are just guaranteeing that this conflict will go forever with ourselves and them, between them. So take the responsibility of connection with your feeling and need, and then please try to find what will satisfy your specific need, what you want from others, from yourself, to satisfy your needs. And I would like to give a case study as an exercise, because I was thinking that we can make this session interactive. And after learning that we cannot do this, at least I want to leave this webinar by giving such an small and simple case study which may be beneficial to you afterwards, how you can implement these 4 steps actually. In my case study, I just designed such a situation which is conflicting one, and you are just imagine you are the owner manager of a small-sized software company which is marketing and implementing financial systems softwares, and you have sold your software packages to a new client which they want to change their current system, finance and accounting system, and you want to make an analysis before implementation, analysis of their current systems, and you need some information actually, and you asked XXX financial data, I don't know, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, and then from the finance manager of the client company. And because you are a small-sized company, I assume that you are owner manager and you are doing the job also, as most of us. And finance manager, you're asking for this data, says, yes, I can give, but doesn't give this data. Although the deadline passed, you gave the deadline and deadline passed more than 1 month. So I would like to go through these 4 steps actually. First of all, I want to make an observation. What happened? Just what happened? Not evaluating what is happening, not analyzing, not judging the other's behavior or whatever. We're just focusing our attention just what happened here. And I'm looking from your side basically, and then I am assuming and guessing the client side, because when we are first trying to adopt these peace language steps, all the feelings and needs, we can be sure our own feelings and needs. We can never be sure about the other's feelings and needs. Okay, then what are we going to do? We will guess. Because all these feelings and needs are universal and same for each human being. That's why coming from this space, we can make some guesses. And we need to check through communication with these people whether our checks, we are calling this reality check, because we are assuming, we are guessing their feelings and needs, and we need to communicate and check whether our guesses are true or not. And they can say the exact feelings and needs for their own. Afterwards, we can be sure about our guesses. And now I'm continuing. Let's say I made an observation like, I would like to get XXX data for analysis before implementation within 1 week, please. You said that. What you said, this is what you said. Okay. Then your client, this is the guest side at the moment, unless you go and communicate what it is. Oops, a new system will be implemented. Okay, I've been asked XXX financial data, which is very confidential actually, to give to an outsider. And we are guessing your client is thinking like this. And on your side, you asked this data and your client said, yes, but she didn't supply the data which you want, and how you feel as a second step. You just look, you waited for the deadline, till the deadline, and then deadline passed 1 month. Every time you are asking for this data, and she is saying that I will give, yes, I will give. And you are asking when, and she's saying that I will give when I have time. I will give when I have time, because I am too busy. I'm really too busy. I really want to give this data, but I'm really too busy, and I will give as soon as possible when I have time. During this time, you are waiting, you are getting angry, upset, maybe confused, anxious, impatient, disappointed, maybe desperate about what to do. All these are your feelings. And maybe you need clarity. This is the third step, which is the need step. You're angry, upset, confused, anxious, impatient, disappointed because your clarity, your connection, your communication, your support and cooperation needs didn't match with this relationship. Okay? So we are linking all your feelings to your needs which are not met. Then when we look at the other side, we are still trying to guess how she may be feeling. She may be scared because there is a new system is coming. Suspicious, maybe she may be anxious, she may be confused, she may be panic because she may think that she may lose her job or whatever. All these are guessing the other side's feelings actually at the moment. And when we look at her needs, we are still guessing. Maybe she needs safety. Maybe she needs clarity about the new system. Maybe she needs trust because she thinks that these are confidential to give an outsider. And she needs empathy to be understood with her feelings and needs. She may need transparency, financial security, and understanding. So we are coming to the last step of what may be your request from yourself and from your clients. And here is the place after linking, after connecting with your feelings and needs, and the feelings or needs of the other side, which you are in conflicting relationship, you can try to find what may be the ways, what may be the strategies and requests satisfying both sides' needs at the same time. So here it comes the actually abundance. Here it comes the connection. Here it comes the creativity. You are trying to find the way which may be satisfy both sides of needs actually. And this is the end of my presentation. And now I am ready for your questions. Andrea, I am giving the word to you.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation and for sharing all of your knowledge in peace language. It's really interesting. I do have a couple of questions here. The first is there a context in which peace language is most effective? Does conflict have to be present?
Is there a context? Is there a context? May I
Would you like
get?
me to repeat it, or do you want me to
Yeah,
just? Okay.
yeah. I
Is
want
there
to.
a Okay. Is there a context in which peace language is most effective? Does conflict have to be present?
Actually, there was an assumption what about the definition of conflict. Conflict is maybe any kind of thing which is new to us, which is new way of doing things, new piece of information, which may not be in suitable for our beliefs and thoughts or whatever, or habits. And then whenever there is such a situation, even with ourselves, we are living, facing with conflicts, inner conflicts with ourselves also. And there is no such a certain context actually. It is a wide range of contexts, in my opinion, because we are starting from the all our feelings and needs are same and universal. So wherever you go, where which part of your life, it doesn't matter. When you face with any kind of relationship, it may be with your child, it may be with your spouse, it may be with your parents and your colleagues, and wherever you go, you can use this language as well. If I understand your question truly. Do you think that this is the answer to your question?
We'll see if we get a response. I think that was a pretty comprehensive response that you've provided.
Uh-huh.
And I'd like to remind the listeners that there is a chat box where you can put in any questions, and also a question box. So feel free to keep asking any questions you may have.
Mm-hmm.
Another question that we have here is, you spoke of moral judgments. How do you
Yes.
minimize those? And is that only an introspective change?
How we can minimize the moral judgments and
is that only an introspective change?
actually the answer is in my reality and in my experiences, life experiences, there is no such thing we can get rid of all these judgments. The only thing is to raise our awareness about them. We have such judgments from the very beginning of our lives, so they turned really patterns and habits and whatever. There are some automatic pilot behaviors. All we can do at the moment, wherever you are living at this age, with which age you are living in now, you can just by aware of these judgments, moral judgments and jackal language, how you are using your jackal language, how you are apart from your truly yourself and your feelings and needs, then the first step is doing so is starting to be more and more and aware each and every day. And then you come to a place where you are really catching them whenever they come up in your mind and in your any kind of relationship. You just catch up that, and then you are starting to say, oh my God, I'm judging now. Or we can do this silently, or we are from some time we start to say loudly actually in any kind of relationship. And then oh my God, I am judging. Oh my God, I will evaluate what you are doing, but afterwards, how I feel when you say that, when you do this, let me talk about how I feel. Okay, this is a process, needs time and practice actually. Was it the response to this question? I want to check it.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty comprehensive as well. And thank you for providing kind of some guidance on how to eliminate the judgments. Another question, do you have any suggestions on how to integrate Maslow's pyramid of needs into organizational goals?
Yes, actually, in my work experiences, I'm working with the corporations also. As you all know, there is a thought that there is no place for feelings at workplace, and this is a big transformation in my opinion. And as long as we are living as human beings in any place, including the workplaces, it is something inevitable. We are going these places with our own feelings and needs. Otherwise, if we leave our feelings and needs at home while going to work, it means that we are there with half of us. We are not whole. And we cannot be productive. We cannot be creative because we need to use to put all the resources, the job what we are doing actually at the workplaces. And then my suggestion is just trying to look behind the human of the titles actually. We are acting from our titles and we are not living our true selves, whole resources at home. And then we bring feelings and needs awareness of the humans at the workplace. And we are trying to increase the performance of people actually, not just by looking people by labels, let's say managers or whatever the title is. And then we are trying to see the people behind the titles. So it can be adopted 100% if we intend to do so. I don't know whether it is a response or not.
Okay, Sessa, thank you. Thank you very much for. I think that was an excellent response, and thank you for answering some of the attendee questions. We've also had some requests for the list, I think, of emotions you mentioned, feelings or
Yeah,
emotions. So if you
emotions and
can,
needs also. Mm-hmm.
okay, perfect. If you can put it on the side with your contact information, and this is for our attendees. Sezer has offered to provide this list to you. She also has can provide a PDF version of the PowerPoint presentation, and you can reach out to her at this email address if you have additional questions. And I want to take this moment to really thank you, Cesar, for
Actually, I would like to say a last sentence as a
absolutely.
closing. Thank you for listening to me. Although I couldn't feel the real connection with you, I wonder how you are brilliant. All these are my evaluations at the moment. Actually, I want to say that I want to make a collaboration, whoever wants to do so. Please write an email to me and you can send your questions about the topic also. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Thank you again, Sezer, for sharing your knowledge and for providing this wonderful presentation. Very interesting. And I think something that all of us as entrepreneurs, as workers, can really integrate into our practices, not only in our professional lives, but also seems like in our personal lives. So thank you again.
Yes, thank you, Andrea, for your support and collaboration.
Absolutely. And for the attendees, please feel free to reach out to Sezer, as she has provided her contact information. I also want to remind you that this session has been recorded and it will be available on the WeConnect Academy YouTube channel. It usually takes about 3 to 5 business days to get that uploaded, but you can check the YouTube channel link regularly. It is available through our website on the WeConnect Academy tab. Again, thank you very much all for attending, and thank you, Sezer, again. I hope you all have wonderful evenings, nights, mornings, wherever you are in the world.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.